Today, I'm going to be covering 9 different ways to become a god at fighting in ranked. All of the techniques in this video are all designed to end fights in the fastest way possible, and the best part is they're all insanely easy to master. But before I go over the first part of this video, if you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed. Also go check out my other socials, but now onto the first fight. First off, let's talk about one of the biggest questions in ranked. How do you fight against someone that's better than you? Now, the best way to fight against someone that's better than you is by learning how to do counter damage. So let's use this fight right here for an example of counter damage. I see this player running in the open, I start to shoot at him, and he's going to come and push me, and eventually he's going to shockwave on my head and get a big hit of opening damage on me for about 70 damage. Now when this happens, I can't sit in this box anymore and try and pop my meds, so that means I need to do counter damage to push him off my box. So before the player lands on my box, I'm going to look for the visual sound effects, and I see they're moving left to right. So that means where I'm standing right now, he's probably going to drop on this cone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit the wall before he gets there. What this means is that when the player tries to drop down and go take the wall for himself, the wall's already going to be edited. This means it catches him with his pickaxe out, and I can pump the player, cracking him. And now I can take the fight to the other player, but as I get up to his wall and I start pressuring on it, I notice that he's looking to pre-fire me. So instead of trying to break the wall, I'm going to play patient, because usually if you stand on an opponent's wall for long enough, they're going to actually shoot their own wall for you. And what you could do is pre-fire that wall from their shot. And then I'm going to let the player shoot the own wall, and then I can pump him and get that big hit of damage. Now he's super weak, and all I have to do is apply a little bit of pressure. And I'm able to hit him once and then pick up this quick kill. But I was only able to pick up this kill in this way because I looked for counter damage on my opponent. So make sure to do this in ranked if you want to be effective and end fights quickly. Another thing you need to understand about ranked is that most players will make bad edits if you put them under pressure, and the best way to put a player under pressure is by cutting off their angles. So let's use this fight as an example right here. This player chases me down in a car, and we're both going to get out and start fighting each other. When this happens, I'm going to take high ground on my opponent and block off all angles. Now from this position, I'm on high ground. I need to make sure that I track the visual sound effects of where the player is going. So if he side jumps just like he does right here, I can pump him and get that opening damage I was looking for. Now this player's weak and he's forced to box up. When he boxes up, I grab the roof above him and I'm going to start to pressure on his wall. And as I mentioned before, you can throw a ramp in someone's box to piece them up. But it doesn't work because the player moves to the front of the box. When he moves to the front of the box, I make sure to block off the right side so that he can't edit out in that direction. Now the only option for this player is to go out left. So I read this and I cut off that direction, so now he's blocked off from every entrance and exit. But right now the player won't edit on me, so I need to bait him to peek. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip up the cone in front of me, act like I'm editing out to the left, and then reset the cone. This is going to make the player think he can move out into that space because I'm leaving. But since I reset that cone, it catches him out in the open with a window edit, and I can pump him, get that big hit of damage I was looking for, and spray the player and then pick up a quick kill. So make sure to do this in ranked if you want to be effective and end fights quickly. Now it seems that every single time you pick up a kill this season, you're going to get third partied. So I'd show you a simple example of how to fight against someone that's trying to third party you. So in this example right here, I see this player flying around in a TIE fighter. Now as soon as I do shoot that player out of the TIE fighter, I see he gets shot in his back, he gets third partied, I'm able to spray him in the back and then pick up a quick kill. Now after I do pick up this kill, I saw the other player shooting this guy, so I know which direction he's coming from, so I'm going to block off that angle while I grab the loot. Now while I grab the loot, the other guy's obviously going to come and push me. So it's very important that I switch to my hard mats and I create space in brick. This means that I'll have time to react when the other player pushes me. And when he gets up to my wall, notice how I'm not going to stand one wall in between me and him. I'm going to back up, put a wall in between my 2x1. So now when he goes for the wall in between me and him, I'm going to have a right hand peek and I'm going to be able to pump the player for 175. Now he's super weak. I can bleed through with my AR and pick up a quick kill. And after I pick up that kill, I'm not going for the loot. I'm instantly going to create space on the loot because I know there's other people around me. So make sure when you're fighting in ranked you have good map knowledge so you understand where you're going to get third partied from. Another great way that you can end fights quickly in ranked is by learning how to change angles quickly to catch your opponent off guard. So let's use this fight right here as a perfect example. As you can see, I see this guy swimming in the water and I'm going to drop on this player's head and I'm going to hit him for about 80 damage. When I do this, I then make sure to block off the other player's angles, but then he pulls out the lightsaber and he does the rock throwing ability and he hits me for an insane amount of damage while throwing me in the air. At this point, I know I'm super weak and this other player is super close to me and I know I'm not going to have time to pop my meds. So this means I need to learn how to change angles and do damage to my opponent. So when he pushes up to me and I see him jump over me, I'm going to go under him behind him. What this is going to do is when he's looking forward, I'm already behind him. I can catch him off guard, crack him, play patient, and create space in hard mats. When I do this, now I'm going to reload my shotgun and I'm going to wait for the player to push me again. When I see him push up to my wall, I'm going to sprint to my left and then sprint out right. This is now going to catch the player off guard. As you can see, he looks right like I'm going in that direction, but now he's too late to turn back to the left, and I'm able to side jump and then pump this player and then pick up a quick kill, even though I basically had no HP. So if you do want to win fights really quickly, even in the worst scenarios, make sure to change angles properly. Moving on, let's talk about the next part of this video, and that is the timing of edits. Learning how to time an edit properly is the best way to catch your opponents off guard and pick up free kills. So in this fight right here, as you can see, I'm creating some space. Now when I create this space, the other player is going to box up diagonally to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip up the cone in front of me, edit out to my left, and create a second box so I have a 2x1 to play from. Now I'm going to reset the cone and I'm going to hold a wide edit on the player, but I'm not going to confirm it yet because I can't see the player yet if I were to edit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for him to make a move. Then when I see the player make a wide edit and start to try and shoot my wall, that's when I know I can make a wide edit but also give myself a right hand peek. You can see my POV right now, I have a really good right hand peek. But from this guy's POV, you can clearly see that I'm completely hidden except for my arm, which means now I'm going to have the jump on the player and I can jump, hit him with my shotgun for a bunch of damage, and then I can just spray him down with my AR and then pick up a kill. Now after I do pick up this kill, I know that there's other people around me and I don't want to get third partied, so I don't go for the loot instantly. I make sure to create space in metal as I get to the body. This means if one of these players over here from my previous fight wanted to push over and kill me, I would have time to relax and get my loot. Now every fight in ranked is going to be different, but it's super important that no matter what type of fight you're in, you have God awareness so you can come out on top. So let's use this fight right here for a in-game example. I'm driving around in a car, see this player in front of me, I'm going to drive past him, get out, and then I'm going to start to look at him so I can try and snipe him with my new Mandalorian sniper. Now as soon as I start hard scoping on this player waiting for him to edit, he realizes this and he's like, oh, I'm not going to peek this guy, I'm just going to take my time and play patient. When this happens, I'm going to get shot in my back from somewhere down the hill. When this happens, the other player is now going to think, oh, he's getting shot in his back, I can now pinch this player and I can third party him. But what you need to do is make sure you have God awareness. You need to know what's going around you at all times. For example, when this happens, I know the other player is now going to want to try and peek me. So I know he's going to overexpose himself. So as soon as I get shot, I'm going to block off the angle behind me so that player can't keep shooting me and then look back at the original player. This player is then going to over peek now, giving me a great chance to headshot dink this player and then pick up a quick elimination. But I was only able to do this because I had awareness on what the other player was going to do next. Moving on now, let's talk about the next best way that you can end fights quickly in ranked, and that is by forcing your opponents to make mistakes. So let's use this fight right here for an example. I am on low ground, this other player is on high ground, and he's going to drop on my head. When he drops on my head, I make sure to create a box of wood. But when this player starts spraying my wall, I realize my walls are super weak, so I need to get out of this box. And when the player goes to my left, I know he's going to want to try and swing on my right wall. So I'm going to instantly elevate up, switch to my hard mats, and block off his head. Since I blocked off that area, if the other player moves back into that old box, I have control of it. And when I see that he's not looking at me, I know I can wide edit on him with my pump and I can get a big hit of damage. And after I crack this player, I know he's nervous, so I can use that to my advantage. So I'm going to drop back onto his wall, swing once, and pull out my pump. But then I realize he doesn't want to edit on me, so I block off the left side. But then he places a ramp in front of him. That means he's going to double edit up. So I'm going to place a wall in between me and him. That means when he double edits up, I have control. So when he edits up, I can have that wall, edit it, and then I get him super weak. Then I go into his box, make sure to place a cone above his head so he can't leave, and then I can pick up a quick kill. So make sure to do this if you want to end fights quickly. Moving on now, I want to talk about one of the biggest problems that a lot of players have, and that is tunnel vision. A lot of players will get too focused on one thing and they won't see the big picture and all the other players around them. They get too focused on one thing and then they die to another. So let's show you an example of how to fix this. So in this example right here, as you can see, this is me on the edge of zone trying to get up this massive hill with this other player on high ground. Now this player doesn't know that I'm here, but that's his problem. He's too focused on all the people back here. All these players are going to die because they're all in zone. There's no way they're going to make it, right? The only chance this guy has of losing is if someone else is on the front side of zone. But he doesn't think that. He's only focused on the players back of zone. He's already gotten all the kills back here. They don't matter anymore. He needs to focus on the next thing, which is me. But since he doesn't do that, I'm able to get in front of the player and I'm able to start to hold him. And since this player was too deep in zone and he had tunnel vision on the other players, I was eventually able to push him back into zone, hold him, and force him into a bad position. And since I did that, I was able to pump him and then pick up a free win. But I only won this game so easily because this other player had tunnel vision. So make sure not to do this when you're in a 1v1 scenario or any scenario. Now that we've covered all these great fighting tips, I'm going to show you guys one of my mistakes and how I learned from it. As you can see, there's this player on low ground boxed up and I'm on high ground. Now when I get on high ground, I'm going to steal the cone above him and I'm going to edit and then give myself a right hand peek. This was the right decision because now I can steal the wall from a right hand peek, edit, and then crack the player. But when I crack the player, I then make the mistake of moving to my left and I make a window edit. This window edit was good, but then after this point when I reset the wall, I know this player is super weak. If you look at the health advantage I have right now, I have over 100 health on this guy. But I'm going to make a dumb edit right here. I make a complete wide edit on this player, and I think that I can just bleed through and kill him. But the problem is this player has the new pump, which does like 160 damage. So he's able to one pump me and we trade. This was a mistake by me and I should have stayed on the right hand peak. So make sure when you're fighting in ranked, you learn from your mistakes just like I did here. Now that's going to wrap up this video, so if you guys did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe, and if you haven't seen how to rank up fast already, go check this video out. I'll be live later today, but with that, I'm out. Peace.